Hello! Today's the last day. Can you even believe it? The last day of the stitch along. I'm so excited. Well, I'm not really excited, but I was just thinking, then we get to do another stitch along soon. And then I get to see all your finished hoops. And that makes me excited. But I'm not actually excited to finish it. Does that make sense? I just want to see everyone's stuff. Hi, George. It's George's birthday today. So happy birthday, George. Yee. Okay, so as I predicted yesterday, I didn't actually finish my hoop. Big surprise. Happy Friday. Happy birthday again. I don't know if you heard me the first time, but I did add some little details in. So I've got a little center here. I'm going to do French knots around the circle. Then here, I finished these ones with some satin stitch and French knots, and the same exact for here. I also did some leaves last night, but I ended up having to stop doing the leaves because I couldn't tell which greens were which and in the nighttime. So unfortunately, I had to end that. Oh! HJGmail.com. It's their birthday too. So George has a birthday buddy. How exciting. So what I'm just going to do here is point out a couple things. Then I've got the May pattern of the month here that I'm going to close up and show you how I close them up. And then we can talk a little bit about like if you wanted to make it into a banner or if you wanted to, how to display it or whatever. Surprise, Jessie wants out again. Gosh. Okay, so you might notice that there's a little bit of space in between a lot of the things. And in these spaces, you can fill in with French knots. You can fill in with other little things. So I'm just going to show a couple other little things that I like to use. I'm not going to stitch them all because they're just really little simple little things. Heather. Oh, she's got a different account. Okay, that's why. Okay, so some of these little spaces, like little spaces in here, like between the flowers, spaces in here, you can fill in with French knots, like I said before. Or I like to do these little things like this. You can add more of these fern or fronds like that. Or you can do some little things with just straight stitches. So the first one is I like to go like this. So one long one, and then one on each side a little bit shorter, and then one on each side a little bit shorter, and one on each side a little bit shorter. And it kind of just like gives a little bit of something else. So anywhere where those kinds of things fit, that's quite fun to do that. You can also do these. Let me just find a place to put it. I'll put it over here maybe. These kinds of things, which is just a detached chain stitch like that, kind of coming out different places. Like it would be great to put one here or here. I might just stitch a couple actually, because now I just want to stitch something. Let's just do a couple little things. I actually ran out of this green color, so I'm a little bit upset about that because I needed it. I'm just going to stitch them. I thought I would just let it go, but I'm just going to stitch them. Okay, so I have just all 6 strands here. So you can do this kind of thing. So you're just going to put it down like that. And you can do one on each side through the same hole down at the bottom. Go down a little bit farther. Do another one. You can do the same hole or you can just make it a little bit lower. I'm going to do one more so it actually fits right into that little pocket like that. Such cute little extras that you can add in there. Okay, let's jump over to this one. Details Day, one of my favorite days of any stitch along. See, I always thought that you guys hated this day because I kind of tell you a lot of things that you can do, but I don't always have enough time to show every single one of them. So I kind of paused due to poor connection. Let me just turn off, I actually have music on. Let me just turn off the music and close that real quick. Let's see if that helps any. It is a bit windy today, so it might be that. It might be that as well. I'm sure that it'll be fine. So yeah, I kind of always thought that you guys hated Details Day because I don't actually get to show you a lot of the times, like every single part of it. And instead I have to like explain a lot more. Because there's not enough time really to do all the details and close up the hoop in the back. Okay, so there's just like a little bit of little things that you can do. You can also do, like I said, the detached chain stitches. They're really cute, like around your leaves. So you don't want to make them too big. But you can kind of like put them on either side. Kind of like coming out of here. Just some cutie little details to like jazz it up a little bit. You can put 2 or 3. You can do like one big one and a little short one on each side. I also said it would be cute to put one on this side of this. So let's do one over there just so you can see what it looks like. Remember when you're going up through stitches, to go straight up and straight down so you're not on an angle at all. See how it just adds like a little bit of like something to it. And you can put these anywhere. So coming up from any little thing, coming out of any flower, anything like that. So obviously they look great when you have like contrasting colors. So I wouldn't put like the same exact color next to each other just because I feel like it looks really nice when you can actually see them. So think about what color that you put these, or you make these as well. They're quite fun. Fun little things. I can't resist. And don't be afraid to like overlap some things too. So just because you stitched it, that doesn't mean that you can't put something on top of it and like really like layer that in there. This will look way better once I have the leaves done and I fill in the rest of the basket. So think about that too, where you put things and how you want them to look. So there's 2 little ways. The other way, like I said, is French knots. You can do green French knots if you want them to look like succulents. Or you can do colorful ones. If you do colorful ones, okay, this is where I would use the same colors that you have in your color palette already and dot them around, okay? So this is where I would kind of take this like dusty rose, like almost beige color and maybe put a couple either little flowers like this, okay? Around on this side, or maybe this side, or you could do French knots. You can put one right here. Little things like that. This right here would be good for a little thing like that. Can really like fill it in. Getting carried away. So yeah, like I said, this is a really great time to kind of make your color palette a little bit more cohesive, especially if you feel like you've gone a little bit crazy with the colors. If you feel like maybe not all of them are like matching necessarily, or maybe you have more bright colors on one side and more dull colors on the other side. A great way to make them all kind of go together is to dot that same color on the other side or around in other places. So yeah, have a think about that. French dots don't always have to be like just one either. They can be clumps like this. You can make them in a line. You can make them in a triangle shape, and they will all kind of mimic different kinds of flowers. So you could even have some little triangle shapes spilling out of here too if you really wanted to like stitch more things on top, or maybe coming out the top here. What I try and aim for is about the same amount of white all the way around so that it looks nice and balanced. So I don't really want to go too crazy with like putting things like way over close to the edge, because that will make it look a little skewed. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Okay, I'm just going to take this off here. We'll push it to the side, and I'm going to show you how to close up the back. I'm going to show you how I do it, and then I'll show you how a couple other people that I know do it as well. And that way you can pick how you want to close up the back, or you can take this out of the hoop and make it into something else. And if you've got any questions at all, put them in the comment box, or you can DM me after. I will be available all the time. You know I always am. So don't be nervous to be like, I have a question, but I don't want to say. Just message, okay? Promise. I promise I'll be here. Okay, so the first thing is, of course, you can take this out of your hoop if you want to. You can make things like a banner. We made this with the advent calendar last year. So you got all the things except for the back fabric. I included white fabric in the advent calendar, but I used the spotty fabric so you could tell the difference in the two fabrics with what I was doing. So you got all the stuff last year to make this advent calendar, this little banner. This advent calendar banner is what I was trying to say. That's what we did last year. So you can use it to use this fabric that you've just stitched on to make a banner if you want to. You can just close up the back, which is what I'm going to show you how to do. And you can put it on your wall. If you want to, you can also put a little piece of twine around the top of it and hang it up that way. Or you can put a nail in your wall, just finding one that has twine on it, like this. Or you can put a little nail in your wall and then hang it up that way. So you can hang it up this kind of way. So imagine this was a nail in your wall, yeah? And you just put the little nail like that, and then it hangs off there. So it's two different kinds of ways to display. If you want to have kind of connection, you are killing me today with the poor connection. So you can have either the kind of line like that with the circle, or you can have just a plain circle if you put your nail in the wall there. You can also do one of those over the door hooks and hang it on there like that. Some people put them over the doorknob and hang it from the doorknob. There's all kinds of ways to display these. You can also take the fabric out and frame it like in an actual frame. That's quite fun to do as well. So what I'm going to show you today is just to close up. I'll use this one because one, it's already done, and two, it has more fabric that I can show you. Okay, so let's just take this off real quick. And then we'll take our scissors. Please don't use your sharp embroidery scissors for this. Use some like proper fabric scissors. What I mean is don't use these tiny little ones because you'll be there all day doing the tiny little snips, okay? Use like big ones. All right, so the first thing is you're gonna need, I use white thread to do the back because I have white fabric, so it kind of matches, and you won't see the stitches so well, but you can use any color thread that you've got. Don't go out and purchase white thread just to close up the back. That's just ridiculous. Just use whatever you've got. So the first way is what we're gonna do is just do a little running stitch around the edge and then pull those tight. It's going to cinch it all in together. So the first thing we need to do is trim this. And after we've been working on this for the last 3 weeks, you'll notice that your edges probably look a little bit like this. We just want to clean those up a little bit. If you have pinking shears, those are the scissors that have the zigzag edge. I say this every stitch along. My pinking shears I got from my mother-in-law, and they're up in the box under our bed, and I still haven't sharpened them. Will I ever? I do not know. But what we're going to do, if you have them, you can use them. If not, just use regular scissors. We're just going to trim this. So So we're just going to trim, and I like to keep about 2 inches, 1.5 inches, not too long. We don't want to go too short either. Now, some people, instead of doing it the way that I'm going to explain to you just now, they'll cut it really, really short, like this short. They'll cut it really, really small. And then they'll actually glue it onto the inside of their wooden frame. Now, I don't like doing it that way because glue is very permanent. And coming from an art history background, we really don't want to put glue on our art. This is art, okay? You made art. We really don't want to put glue on our art unless 100% necessary, because what it does is it starts to break down your fabric. And if you have things like cats or kids or a husband that doesn't know how to put up a shelf, or if you don't know how to put up a shelf and your shelf falls down and your embroidery falls off the wall, okay, all theoretical things, they've all happened to me. If this is glued on the inside, you can't actually take this fabric out and then clean it in any kind of way. So I've just dropped them on the floor and they've gotten dirty, like on the edges, especially kind of here where it goes together like that little fabric there. If you have it glued, you can't take it out of the hoop and do any kind of spot clean or wash it or anything like that. So you kind of have to think about that. Like if you give it to a friend, you want to be able to be like, oh, actually, if you drop it or you get it dirty, it's not the end of the world. Or if dust accumulates on it. Because remember, these are 3D things that we've stitched on top. Yeah? So we want to make sure that this is as long lasting as we can make it, because you spent all this time on it and you don't want to have to just put it in the bin when it gets dirty or when you accidentally drop it on the floor like I do all of the time. Why have you just done that? Now remember, we're not getting graded on this, okay? Just do an approximate. Same with this. We're not getting graded on this. So what I like to do is pull out a bunch of thread and lay it like this. So it's overlapping like that. Again, not getting graded. So just wing it. So you're going to thread your needle on the one end. The other end, do not knot, because we're actually going to pull both of those ends together and cinch it. So the running stitch is like this. What you're going to do is you're going to hold it like this with your 2 fingers, just the fabric part, and let this part just like dangle. We don't really need that. And I like to start here where the hardware is. And you're going to go about this far away. You see? And you're just going to go down, up, down, up. You guessed it. Down, up, and then pull. And leave this bit of thread at the end. Okay, and you're going to do that all the way around. So this here is just the running stitch, and you can totally see what's going to happen is as I pull these tight, just like it's doing it on the needle here, it's going to gather together at the back. Okay, so we're going to do this all the way around. Don't pull too hard or you're going to pull your thread all the way through your fabric and you're going to have to start again. I've done that so many times. And you can see that it's already starting to fray a little bit, which is not a big deal. But if you have those zigzag pinking shears, they'll work so good. And they prevent the fraying of your fabric like loads. So we're just going to continue this all the way around. I'm just going to quickly explain a couple other ways. Some people like to take this fabric out of the hoop and put another piece of fabric behind it. So you have 2 pieces of fabric, okay? A different color here, and then your embroidery on the front. And what that does is it makes it so you actually can't see the inside. I like it that you can see the inside because that's all my work. I did all of that. So why would I want to cover it up? Some people like to stitch with 2 pieces of fabric for that reason, is because it makes it a little bit, like it makes the fabric a little bit more opaque so you can't see through it. I think we discussed this a little bit earlier. I don't like doing that. I've tried it numerous times and I just hate it. I just don't like doing it. So this is the way that I like to do it. But if you found a way that works for you, then you do it that way. You know what I mean? Like there's no right and wrong. So there's that. So when people do that, some people, they'll put a different color of fabric behind and then they'll rehoop both of them so they're nice and tight again. And then they'll do the same thing to close it. Some people add a layer of scrapbook paper. So they cut a circle out of scrapbook paper and then lay the circle over the top behind. So it's actually like, it's killing me slowly. I'm telling you, it gets windy and there's just no saving it. So I'm hoping that the live will save and it doesn't like impact you guys at all or too much. Are we all still here? I hope so. I'm just going to keep going because... Good evening, Sarah. Okay. I've got to the beginning again. So this is what we've got. The front looks like this. We've made sure that our fabric is nice and tight. So what you want to do, even before you start this, which I probably should have said before I even did this, but it's fine. You're going to pull this all the way tight. Make sure it's tight. Okay. Give this a couple more turns. Make sure it's nice and snug. So we don't want to see any ripples in our fabric. We don't want to see any puckering. We don't want to see any loosey-goosey fabric like flapping in the wind. Okay. We don't want to see that. It needs to be nice and tight. So that means all the way around the edge should be snug. Do you hear that? It should be tight like a drum like that. Okay. After you've done your running stitch all the way around and you've gotten to the beginning again, you're going to pull both of these tight. And what happens is it cinches it together. Do you see how it pulls it all the way around? Now, this is what I was saying, that some people take a piece of scrapbook paper and they'll cut it to the same circle, the same shape as this, and then glue it on the wood on the back. I've already told you how I feel about glue. That's just my opinion. Obviously, if it works for you, then it works for you. So there's no shame in that. And what you're going to do is do a double knot. And then I like to tie a little bow and leave the strings. Okay. When it's on the wall, you will not be able to see this. And this is what it looks like. Looks like that. Now, some people don't like to do the cinching part. Let me just see if I have it over here, because I've done a little rearranging. Some people like to cut the piece of cardboard. I had a little hoop with cardboard. This is the way that Hope does it, from Hope Embroidery. And she got it from someone else. Of course, it's not in there. Just check one more place, and then I'm going to give up. All of these hoops. Oh my gosh. Nope. I'm going to give up. Okay, so what she likes to do is she takes a piece of cardboard and she traces the inside of the hoop. And she does this because you can take the cardboard and just put all of your fabric in and then shove the cardboard on into there, into that little edge like that, and it holds it in place. Now, I think this is a really good way, one, to recycle your cardboard if you have cardboard, and two, if you want to use this fabric for something else, meaning like, I say this every single time, and it's really stupid, but it's so true. I'm a Libra and I'm very indecisive. So oftentimes I'll think, actually, I wish I had more fabric, because then I can take this right here and make it into something else. Or actually, maybe after a year, I'll think, I'm going to take it out of the hoop. I'm going to make it into a banner. If you want to, you can leave more fabric on the back, shove it all in there, put that cardboard over the top, hang it on your wall like that, and then you can actually take it off and do something else with it. That's the other reason I really like to do this method, because I can snip this thread right here, pull it out, and then have this fabric to do something else with. So there's my lecture. Some people sell these wooden things. They're kind of like this, and they get set right in the middle. I'm not a huge fan of these. Not this one. Maybe a 5-inch hoop it would fit. I'm not a huge fan of these. I just feel like, one, they wouldn't fit every hoop. Some people sell them. There's loads of them on Etsy. So you can always look into something like that. They're a little bit more expensive. But yeah, I like to use what I have. So that's what I've got. So I'm going to use the cardboard and the whatever first. But yeah, super good. So that's pretty much it for me. That's pretty much all. That's pretty much all I've got. I wish I could find that hoop with the cardboarding, because it really shows you. I should be more prepared. I completely forgot about that though. Let's just bring this one back. That's pretty much it for me. All the videos will be uploaded this evening onto YouTube. I thought I did all the ones already, but they're paused. I don't know why they keep pausing, but hey ho, it's probably the bad internet. But they'll all be up by the end of the night, I'm sure of it. And yeah, keep tagging me in your completed May Blooms Stitch Along. Hopefully we'll have another one soon. Usually I do a little Google survey at the end of each one, at the end of each stitch along, and I'll try and put that up today. And then at the very, very end of it, there is a discount code for the next stitch along if you want to do that. At the moment, I only have the discounts on Etsy, meaning that I have like it's an Etsy coupon, not on my website. So I'll have to figure out how I can make it on my website as well. If you want to give some feedback, and then you can get a little discount code at the end. So if there's no other questions, that's pretty much it for me. Like I said, keep tagging me in your stories, and I'm going to keep sharing them. And make sure you go to the hashtag. It's the Barmy Fox, SAL. And you'll find a bunch of people who've done. Let me just see if it's on here. I think I got signed out, but I can still access the hashtag, can't I? There's a bunch of people who've used the hashtag in their posts. Wow, there's 4,500 it says. That's amazing. Okay, so if we go to top here, this is all of them. I don't know why it just says top in reels. Before it said top in actual feed ones. So that's quite annoying, because now they're not in order. They're just like the top liked ones. That's frustrating. Why do they always change? Why do they always change? But there's a bunch of reels as well. Or you can go to... If you go here, these are ones where people have tagged me. So if you go to this one here, if you've tagged me in your post, then it will come up on here. So there's lots and lots and lots of progress shots here as well. Not just on this stitch along, but on like loads of other ones. So if you're kind of looking for another project after this, and I haven't announced the stitch along yet, then head there and you can totally find something else that you can do. Yeah? Such good fun. Honestly, such good fun. I really wish that it would. Yeah, I really wish that it would do how it did before. That's really frustrating. Because before it would be, like chronological. Oh, always changing. So enjoy. I'll try and get the survey up. And yeah, I'm a little bit sad to say goodbye. This was so much fun. And I cannot wait for the next one. So yeah, have a lovely weekend. Keep tagging me, keep stitching, and I'll speak with you soon. All right? Bye. Bye, bye, bye.